Good morning. I'm going to wait a few minutes. At least if we get one person in, then I will begin. I'll wait a few minutes and I'll just start the talk. Hope everybody is having a good day. It looks like things are opening up. The UK this weekend is fully opened up now. No restrictions of any kind, which is actually amazing because I thought the UK might be one of the last. So let's see. I predict if France and Germany do it, then it's going to be a competition between the U.S. and Canada because it seems like wants to compete with us on a lot of things. So let's hope uh, Canada will get a little competitive with us and open up because it will be good for them. Because unfortunately, their lockdown was one of the harshest, I think, next to Australia and a few other European countries. So I'm not going to get political, but I'm just going to express my views of hurt and torment towards the population of certain country, not their government. So be that as it may. So, okay, we got a couple people. So today we're going to talk about character and behavior. Hey, Dark Tupa, how are you doing? Nice to have you here. So, today's character and behavior, and you know, to be honest, I'm not always the best person. I do troll, if you call it trolling, but there are a couple channels that I do show a slightly negative side of myself, and I'm going to be open and upfront with that because I don't hide from anything. So last night, someone had a live stream. That's good. I'm great too. Nice to hear that, Tupa. So there was a live stream last night. I made reference about this one gentleman, character, whatever you want to call that, has involved his channel on exploiting Filipino women in a sexual manner. So one gentleman that attacks him and exposes him. He's actually came on a live stream or two here. Had a live stream, so I went on there and I said some um, immature things. I don't think I said anything too foul, but I did say some immature things, and I admit it. So if you want to judge me on that, go ahead. But consider the source of what the comments were who the comments were directed at. So I will be honest with that. So uh, I didn't give this much thought, fortunately or unfortunately, um, because character and behavior is really an individual thing, and what an individual feels is acceptable or unacceptable. So if someone that is aggressive and childish and petty and things like that, for some women that's very attractive. They like that. So to make a judgment call on that is unfair. If someone wants to be a gentleman and polite majority of the time and treat people with courtesy and all that, that's a judgment call. So it all depends on what your standards are and things like that. So if here in this country, we're going through a phase of normal. So what is normal and what is not normal? I'm going to go back to my childhood and my adolescence during that period of time. What was acceptable behavior? So during that period of time, it was very like what things are in the Philippines right now. The way women were, uh, the just the roles of men working and the women being at home. Some women worked; it wasn't common, but we had certain social standards of behavior and things like that. So I'm going to go with that. And the reason why I'm going with that because that's the way I still wish to live now. Um, some people find it old fashioned. That's fine. That's why I'm going to the Philippines because I wish to retain that type of lifestyle, which is rapidly fading here and other Western countries. So, that being said and out of the way, um, you're going to find a variety of different men, like they're going to find a variety of different women in your country with different behaviors and different traits and characteristics. And what you need to really focus on is what you really need in your life. You need to sit down for a few days if you haven't already and just imagine your life with anybody. And how do I say this? Incorporate all of your life, your family, and everything else. So imagine, hey, I'm at home with my family. I'm married with this person, or I'm with this person. Um, what do I imagine, or what do I need to be ideal for me? Why this is very important in any relationship in any country is because a lot of people will see certain traits in somebody, their appearance, uh, anything, their lifestyle, and they'll latch on to that and they will overlook a lot of other things. And eventually those things will surface, not with that, they can surface with that person slowly, like things about yourself will surface with the other person slowly because we all want to put on our best face. I don't believe personally of putting on my best face. So people here wonder about me sometimes because they imagine me a certain way. Even with the turban, they imagine I should behave a certain way. And when I fall out of their ideal, they're kind of taken back by that because in their imagination, I am supposed to fit into a certain type of mold or be a certain way because the way what I say I believe in and all that. So, like I said, I'm not a perfect person, and I will make off the cuff comments and things like that, and it shocks people. Hey, EMS, how are you doing? Nice to have you here. So, I will say off the cuff comments, and they're taken back because it's like, um, thank you. I just didn't expect that from you. And it's like, well, I don't hide myself from people. And the reason I don't do that because I don't believe in always putting on my best face all the time and then letting my hair down. In the West, they have a saying, letting your hair down. It's not used much anymore, but what it's saying is I kind of keep this side of myself in a closet, but come you thank you. Blessings to you, and I hope you're having a wonderful evening. I kind of keep this part of myself in a closet, but when a time comes, like a party or something else, and people are drinking, then I'm going to let my hair down and show a different side of myself. And then people get shocked and say, "Oh, I didn't know you were like that, and you're wild, or you're kind of a jerk, or something like that." And that's called letting your hair down. So we all have that habit of, closeting or hiding certain things about ourselves. And personally, I don't believe in doing that. So, and some people really appreciate that because it's like they could take me, another phrase, on face value. So I see that in some YouTubers. M Birdie is here. So I've seen her in a variety of moods. She doesn't hide anything. And that's why I like coming to her channel, because I see a real person here. Another gentleman here, he's not here yet, is Charles. He shows his true face. So that is one of the things of a person's character. How much do they hide? How much do they show? So it's kind of like a fine line, and what you have to do is also another phrase. You have to have your radar on. Uh, People will hide things. It's because here it's like we have certain social norms. I'm going to call some people out, not by name, but their behavior here. I've talked about the community garden, and we have certain characters and individual here that are completely fake. So we have one woman here that comes around the garden. She looks like, oh, I'm a very religious person and this and that, but in truth, she's a real bigot. And I've experienced this with her in the past, with her saying very inappropriate things about people's races. But she puts on this big smile and walks around, and God loves you and Jesus loves you and all of this. But, you know, I was at the garden many years ago. I left and then came back. And many years ago, we had a black family come into the garden, and she was very upset about that and said, "Oh, I guess we have to allow the N words in the garden now." And I was shocked. I saw a different and the real side of this person. So uh, I never forgot that, because I saw the real character and the real behavior. Excuse me, I'm going to reach for tea. I make it about slurping tea. I won't eat, but I will have my tea. So one of the things that I'm going to use some personal experiences here. So one of the things that I experienced in the last 2-3 weeks on YouTube, which led me to have this little discussion, is there are some live streams that I go to, and I hope a couple of them will watch this and eventually go back. But there's a group of people, and within the group, there's some cliques, and they're in communication with each other. And I know this because I'm told about this. So in one live stream, I don't go there much anymore because it's like they show their true self, their true character. Hey, Panay, good morning. How are you doing? Welcome. So I would go on the live stream and I would be greeted all the time by these people, and, very congenial and all that. And I've noticed a certain amount of coldness now. And it began with when I did my last 2 live streams here. I'm glad to hear that you're good. Wear a helmet, please. I will keep my eyes open. I'm limited on time. I know it's very late there, and I appreciate you coming to mine. And I'm going to have a visitor coming here, I think. Yes, you. What are you after? So I'm getting the cold shoulder now because I am exposing. Uh, I'm exposing the behaviors of Western men, and they don't like it. And the reason they don't like it, because what I've called out on these live streams, what you need to avoid, they partake in this type of behavior. Plain and simple. So I'm the bad guy now. I'm the bad guy uh, because I'm ruining it for them, because I'm trying to educate women that will see this, and you are probably passing the word of, hey, some of these guys, we got to look out for certain things. The Filipino P does the same thing, and I find it funny that 3 times I did a live stream, and within 24 hours she did a similar live stream. So it's got to be something in the ethers uh, out there that people are feeling it's necessary to call people out about how they treat other people and what they do. So with behavior, she's here, so I'm petting her. That's why I'm a little preoccupied. I got to trim her nails because she's doing a lot of clawing for attention. Huh? Right? Yeah. So if you have any input, please experiences, or type something here, and then I can address it and give my little take on it. But one thing I will warn you about is you will have a lot of guys that will meet you either on in person or a live stream, and face it, a lot of Western men are like little boys. Hey, how are you doing, Tina from Nagoya? Wow, she found my live stream. I don't know where, but they're immature, and they come across a nice looking lady, and their chemistry gets the best of them, and they become infatuated. And it's a bad way of saying it, but it's the best way to say it. It's like a new car or a new toy, and all their attention will go on you, and they will say, hey, you're a great woman, and you're lovely, and you're this and that and everything else, and it will wear out. And then they end up uh, avoiding you, leaving you. Hey, Charles, snowing a tiny bit there. Yes, I've heard. I've heard another gentleman that lives in the area is having snow. I think he's in Minnesota, which is next door. So it's like any infatuation. I'm going to explain this with character too. It wanes, it wears out. So the toy loses its appeal, and it's ignored, or it's like, this isn't really what I wanted, or I feel trapped. Um, they don't understand Filipino women, because it's not an insult, it's a reality and it's a fact. Filipino women tend to be clingy. I've experienced that myself, where I've had women straight out just say, I want a relationship with you after one chat. I'm like blown away by that. I'm like, oh, okay, you're in Minnesota. Cool. Panay is in Minnesota too. So, after one or two chats, it's like they want a relationship. I'm impressed, but thrown back, because it's like, you don't know enough about me to have that. But some men are like very enamored by that, and they will go with it. And unfortunately, they find out it's not really what they want, and then they become avoidant, or they find a way to get you back, to break up with you, or to say it's not really what I want. Because the Filipino women, for a lot of Western men, they love it. You're really into the men. You want to be with them all the time. They think you don't trust them or whatever. It could be true in some ways. In others, it's just like you want to be with the man all the time. They don't like that. Personally, myself, I like my quiet and free time. But part of his behavior is being an adult, because he cannot address. I'm going. This is character and behavior. He cannot even address his own feelings. So you need to really remember this. Most Western men have difficulty. Most men in general, but mainly Western men have a real problem with addressing their feelings. And I'll tell you, I've been on live streams, Filipino men's live streams, and their character of how they express their feelings and all of that is can be very different from a Western man, where they show their emotions more. They're more expressive with themselves. Maybe that's a rarity. I don't know, but I see that when people are doing like walking through the city and all of that, and I'm seeing the men, and it's like they're a lot more expressive and they're more comfortable with themselves. Um, and they joke a lot more. Hispanic men tend to be the same way. They're more expressive with their feelings. They're more open with their feelings, and uh, like what I'm saying here, it's like I like my alone time. I'm very boom, honest and forthright right with it. In the beginning, I said, I'm not the best person. You know, I say things and I don't apologize for it. But a lot of Western men are uncomfortable with that. So be aware. You need to give a man 3 to 4 months before you start seeing things. But at the same time, you need to be open with him and say, "Hey, I want you around all the time," and yada yada. Sorry for saying yada yada, but I want you around all the time. I want to spend every moment with you, but I need you to be comfortable with that too. So a lot of it depends on you. So you need to express your desires with him. It's better. Let me explain something. I've witnessed this so many times with women being hurt by breakups and things like that, and they feel like they've been lied to or cheated. I could say half the time yes. um I could say you had a relationship online, especially online, with a gentleman for 6 months, a year, whatever, and then all of a sudden, halfway through, you notice there's something not right, or it abruptly ends. Um, that's part of his character, where he's uncomfortable with the situation, or he's waking up. He's acting like a little boy and he's enjoying the ride. It's like an amusement ride. All the chemicals, all the emotions, and all that. It's great. But you know what? After a while, it wanes down for any person, and you come into the everyday life of things, and then he finds out he doesn't really like it. So you need to be honest and upfront with him and saying, this is my lifestyle. This is what you know, this is how I'm going to live. This is how I wish to live. I'm I'm very much in tune with my family, all of that. It's better to risk meeting somebody, chatting with someone, and losing them than having months or more building a relationship that you thought was being built on honesty and trust, And then him just abruptly saying, this is, I don't mean to hurt you, but I'm sorry, it's not really what I want. Here's the thing: a lot of his character and his behavior, if he doesn't really want to hurt you, why did he let it last so long? Think about that. And if this has happened to you more than 2 or 3 times in life, then you need to reevaluate how you approach a relationship. I don't mean to hurt your feelings or be hard, but you need to reevaluate the whole thing, how you approach somebody. So, like with me, I'm not going to say where I'm going. So, say I met someone online or whatever, I'm going to say, hey, this is what I wish to do. I wish to come to the Philippines, find some land, lease it, uh, do a little farming. I'm not going to have a exciting life. I'm not going to have a television. I'm just going to have an everyday life. I'm going to have hobbies. I want to be with my neighbors. I want to learn about the community, help the community. Uh, maybe have a kid or two. If she has a kid or two, that's cool. But I just want to do the regular family thing. I don't want to run around and explore all these islands and everything else. I'm going to spell it out straight out. So there's no guessing. Yeah, I want to live in the Philippines and have a good life. Oh, that's good. Do you want a family, sir? Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I have to think about that. But that sounds really good. And, my family's really nice, sir. And, we do party. Oh, yeah, that sounds really good. That's partying. It's like, if someone came to me with that, I would say, yes, family's important. I respect your family important. But be aware that there's going to be times when I need alone time. And I'm not going to be there all the time. If that's something you cannot live with, I gave you up front that this is something I can't have all the time. It's nothing against you. It's nothing against your lifestyle. It's nothing against your family. It's what I need. If you need the man to be completely involved with your family at all times, then you need to find that gentleman. And this is where you need to. Yes, and I haven't watched TV since 2008. So what is that? Yeah, 13 years for me too. So you need to be upfront with him. This is my lifestyle. This is what I need. And to tell you the truth, I have chatted with some women. They're not YouTube women, and in a lot of ways they were ideal, but then they had certain things with their lifestyle that would be intruding on my lifestyle. So know your lifestyle and be upfront with that. Because I have found a lot of times that is the main issue with these guys. Some of these guys will just play you, okay? They will just play you because it's fun. And they may have other women on the side. Just like some Filipinas, not all, have the same thing. It's they're hedging their bets, meaning they're setting things up where I want the best choice, but I'm going to have many choices in front of me that I could choose from and not really be sincere about any of them. So it's like buying a car. I'm going to test drive all these different cars. That is their way of doing life. I'm not saying it's a proper way or an improper way, but that's the way they do it. You need to be upfront. So a lot of Filipinos are like, "Are you chatting with other guys?" An honest guy, I mean, other women, an honest guy will say, "Yes, I am. There's 3 other that I chat with." So if that's something you cannot have in your life, then say, "Nice to meet you, sir. I'll put you in the friend zone." Still be friendly with him. And I'll tell you why. You can still learn something. Say, I don't not interested in a relationship, but I wish to be friends. That's hard for some of you, and that's fine, but you can still learn from them. So that's one thing. Also, um, a lot of his behavior you need to be aware of is how he talks about people and what he says about people and things. Uh, that is especially on YouTube. So be aware of that. Um, I've witnessed a couple of these guys on YouTube that are on some of the ladies that come here on their channel, and they're out there gossiping on other channels, and I find that offensive. You know, especially if uh, you're having private conversations or whatever, and they're blurting something out that, oh, we had a chat and she was telling me this. Um, I don't think that's a proper way. So, you know, I know in the Philippines, gossiping is a big thing, which is fine for your culture. But for a man to do that, especially if he's having a relationship with a woman, um, it's kind of a telling sign because it's really not part of the Western culture. This is how do I put this in the right way? Um, in the Western culture, gossiping is considered. See, and what Charles has expressed here is really beautiful because he's being upfront and honest. And like I said before, Charles is very abrupt, which for some is good and some for bad. It's hard to understand, but right there, he just is abrupt and he just says, "This is what I'm looking forward to for my life. No ifs, ands, or buts. So this is what you need to look for." So in the West, gossiping is kind of like how do I say it? It uh it it impacts that person's trust with other people in the West. So this is a cultural difference. So in the West, someone that gossips a lot is, I'm trying to be gentle with this, is where I'm splitting the cultures right here. Yes, it's common, but on the whole, in Western culture, it's getting rampant now. But in the past, um, that's good. Gossiping is considered, someone that gossips in the West is considered someone that's untrustworthy with a secret or with personal information. So I give personal information out here and I don't care because what are they going to do? They're going to just say the truth about me. So if you have in the West, if you have something that you don't want people to know about, then you are careful who you tell. You don't want gossip. Um, in your country, it's very common. I understand why. Yeah, chica chica, but in Western culture, it's a different mentality with the culture, and I'll explain what I have perceived and what I have an opinion on. It may be a totally wrong opinion, but the Filipinos are more of a Pacific Island type of people where knowing everything what's going on with everybody else's life they call it the bamboo lifeline pipeline. Um, Most of the time isn't being done out of malice. It's being done because you're very family orientated and you want to know what's going on with the family. And it's not the whole community, you might not be related, but it's still considered like a close group, a family. So it's normal. So if you go to another country like Africa and you're in a little tribe of 30 people, everybody more or less knows everything about everybody because that's the social norm. It's being open-faced. Where in the West, people are easily threatened with their privacy being looked into by other people or being talked about by other people. So it's a threat. So chica chica gossiping to a lot of Westerners is considered a threat. And that's part of his behavior. So he may become angry about this. That is a cause for some of the breakups because it's like, all of a sudden he's talking with people, he's on a live stream or whatever, and it's like, oh, I heard you and so or blah, blah, blah. And it's like, he gets offended by that. And that is part of his character and behavior is he needs to learn about your culture. And what is a norm in your culture is not a norm in his. So he will easily be offended by certain things. So that's part of his character that he needs to be involved with. So there's no delicate way to put it. I'm not putting down the culture in the Philippines. I'm just saying that's something that he has a problem with. Um, but at the same rate, with all his buddies and his pals, he will be talking about bedroom things where you may find that offensive. So it's like that. So Charles, maybe you can have some input here. What you have, or anybody here. Now, M's Birdie is saying, If she's still here, what are you saying, about? I don't know if she's still here or not. But anyways, I know it's late. It's Wednesday morning in the Philippines and other countries over there. So, what have you noticed out there, Charles? In regards to, because I know you go on live streams. In regards to some of the behavior and character flaws, some of the guys have towards Filipinas. I know I hear many complaints about things, and I think a lot of it is ignorance of the culture. I believe it's ignorance of the culture, and it's really not accepting the culture. So, these guys want to be in a gated community, cut off from the culture, from what I hear a lot of times. And they have a harsh or an opinionated attitude towards the culture, where some guys are just very open to the culture, and it's like they left the Western culture and embraced the Philippine culture because it is like a family. And in my observance, I don't think they're concerned about having anything they need to hide about themselves. They just are themselves and they enjoy the culture. So what have you observed with some of these guys on YouTube? I know one thing, they put down a lot of things. They openly are putting down things, which I don't care for. It's, you know, yeah. I'm in Los Angeles, and I could say 30 years and more ago we're like that, but people have become very closed off. One of the reason is there's not many natives here. So I'm actually a native. One girl, she's from Ohio, called me a invisible flying unicorn because my grandparents on one side of the family and great grandparents are and back are natives. So see, and Charles is one of the rare ones. Uh, he's open to the whole culture. Where I see some of these guys insult things and put things down, and I'm like, and say things about the family openly on live streams. I expressed this before. Um, Insulting the wife about her English skills and all of that, and I don't understand that. Why are you there? Uh, that's part of the character. So I'm going to give a few things here. So, ladies, one question you may want to ask up front with anyone is, what don't you like about our country or our culture? And be aware of, make eye contact and be aware of his eyes. If he's like, well, he's hiding something. If he could say just bluntly, oh, I hate this and I hate this and I hate this, that's kind of a red flag too. If he says, it's something that I need to adapt to or have more understanding towards, this kind of bugs me, but I got to get used to it. That's going to be someone that's going to be a little bit better for you. I've seen this a lot on the live streams and channels of guys that live there. They say, you got to get used to the ATMs here. You can't just go to the ATM and get money. I would get frustrated. I would get mad. But you know what? I had to get over myself and just learn that's the way it is here. That is somebody that is probably a better choice because if he's easily frustrated and lashes out and gets angry, that's going to be hard to handle because as the years go down the road, it's going to get worse, not better. Getting back to the relationship and the honesty, I'm going to reemphasize, be upfront. This is what I expect in life, and this is what I need in life. And you need to be aware of his response towards that because a lot of guys will go along to get along. They just want the ride, they want the chemical rush and things like that of having a nice woman, showing him attention, things like that. Um, so, it's kind of a warning sign. There's no delicate way of putting some of this stuff without being insulting. And I probably be booted off some channels now because I'm I'm saying things that they don't want you to hear. Uh, I know many of you have run into this type of behavior and these type of things where you got some, but at the same rate, you need to recognize that um, I don't know how to put it in words. It's just one of those tough things um, with some of these guys. I'm just going to say it. Unfortunately, a lot of the Western men that go to the Philippines, Charles wants the open country life in a nipa hut, a good life, a simple life. A lot of these guys are very immature and, by our standards, unattractive. I was told I was by some woman yesterday that I was handsome, and I'm kind of like, stop it. No, really, you are. And it's like, I don't see myself as that, but that's fine. However, they're unattractive, they're insecure, and they're not very well emotionally developed. So, to women here, of it's a really bad way of putting it, but there's no other way of putting it. A higher quality woman, they're very unattractive. You know, um, and the type of person, I've done that many times here, Charles. So doesn't bother me. And in cold weather too. So their choice of women here, of quality women, is very low, because now they're going to get mad at me, because they're not attractive. And I don't mean physically, I'm talking about their emotional state, uh, just being angry and nitpicky all the time, and just not being happy in life. So when they come to the Philippines, or they chat with a woman that really shows interest with them and in them, that's a mind blower. And you all know this, and it's almost like, I'm saying something that's been said many times. It's a mind blower for them, and they get a big chemical rush in their bodies, because, like anything. So after about two or three chats, you say, "Hey, I love you," or whatever. Wow, he's on cloud nine. He's pumped up. But then, as you're talking, and then you're telling, "Yes, well, if we get married or we live together, that would be good, because our family will come over and we'll do this." And he starts thinking, it's like, this isn't really what I want. He's not mature. But at the same time, you need to be upfront with him right off after a few times. It's if it's an honest thing. That's why I say you need to be chatting with somebody, or even if you're face to face in the country, you need to be with him for a couple months before you even think about marriage or long term relationship. I know that's really hard. You might have a fear that someone will steal them from you or whatever. Let me tell you something. If you went immediately to and you're living together, someone's going to steal. If he could be stolen, someone will steal him. Okay, so it's better to put out some time and learn his character. Okay. Um, yeah, yeah, and men are not men in this. There's very few. What Charles is describing, there's very few men in this country, and the ones that are men have been snatched up by the women here. So a lot of these guys, the other warning signs is guys that have been married at a young age and that have children. I'm sorry, Charles, I don't want to. You actually said you made your mistakes, and that happens. But guys that have done that, and not properly taking care of their kids and their family after a divorce. But Charles, have said that he does, and he still has a relationship with his ex for the children. And there's a lot of these guys that are out there, and they're on YouTube and big channels, and they're being called out because they left their kids back in the States. So they're not mature. How they treat their kids and their families back home is big and telling. Also, I don't want to call out the channel's names, but be aware of the channels that they go to also. A lot of channels I've gone to, I just don't go to anymore because it's the behavior of the men, not the women. And they're like adolescents. They behave like little boys. You all know this. You all see this. And it's something that you really need to be focused on. And what Charles is saying is absolute. And it will be misery for you, especially if you have a relationship with him and you've been together for a while, and then he just says, "I can't do it anymore," and leaves. It's happened so many times. You need to be prepared. The slower he is with you, the better that is for you. So if he's not rushing into a relationship with you, then that's going to be better for you. And I'll tell you why. Because, uh, yes, the stupid boy comment. The longer he wants the relationship to go on, and before he's, you know, getting into more romance with you, the better. That's going to be somebody that really is being cautious, and good men will be cautious like that because they don't want to hurt you. They're aware of your culture. They're aware that you fling yourselves. Many women in the Philippines will fling themselves. Filipina P was talking about this too. The women will fling themselves at you, and it's like, oh, she said the same thing. It's a chemical rush and all that. And all of a sudden you don't want it. A good man will take his time with you. He will explore you more, not just the physical and the romance, but he will explore you as a person. And I've been on some of you ladies' live streams, and I've seen some of these guys, and I see red flags. To tell you the truth, I'm not going to, even if you ask me in private, which I don't have any contact with anybody outside of YouTube. Panay and Charles and a couple others, but no other women. But you know, I see some of these guys' behaviors, and it's just a red flag. And especially when they're openly saying on your live streams, "I'm going to message you. Hey, did you get my message?" You know, I don't know. I don't know how to put that. Um, to me, it's almost like he's marking you like a dog marks a tree, saying to other guys, "I'm having a relationship with her." Charles, I'm the same way. I'm the same way. So if she says, "Do you like me?" I said, "Well, I'm getting to know you. Yes, I like you. Do you love me?" I said, "Well, as a human being, yes. As a romantic thing, I don't know you." So Charles is explaining it straight out here. So Charles, that would be good if you could do some videos yourself. Your experiences. That's why I like when Charles comes on, because he, you know, says things, and I know it might be embarrassing for some women and just to say anything. But yeah, I'm going to end the stream soon. Since there's no questions from any of the women and things like that. See, and that's a proper thing to say. You know, I feel she's a good girl. I don't know, but I feel, I sense. And what that tells me about the way Charles is exploring this relationship. Now, let me explain something about how I use relationship. So right now I'm having a relationship with Charles. Now there's going to be some clowns saying some stupid boyish things in the comments for me saying that, but I'm relating to him. I'm communicating with, we're sharing ideas. That's a relationship. So in his relationship, he's perceiving things, and whether it's true or not, he's voicing a complimentary thing and saying something very nice to the young woman, if she is a young woman, I don't know, and giving her a compliment. Thank you, Charles. But this is a thing with him. He's exploring it slowly, and he's just saying, hey, you seem like you're a really nice woman, and everything you said about your family is, I like that. That is a proper relationship. So um I'm trying to think of something where, so it I have a question. Are you open to an area, Charles? Do you have a set area where you want to go and live, or are you open to explore an area to go and live? I'm going to wait to see if he has a answer to that. And if so, if you have a certain area, okay, is this woman on Palawan? I would assume yes. So is this woman you're communicating with, is she on Palawan? From what I understand about Palawan, I would love Palawan, but the heat I don't care for. Okay, so here's what they may be talking with. I don't know. Is she willing to relocate? Charles is set on Palawan. Is she willing to relocate? You know, are you, do you talk about these things, or are you in just, hey, we're just friends now? I want to hear this from Charles. So, are you at a thing where you're exploring a relationship, or you're just in a more of a intimate chat about life and lifestyles? When I say intimate, I don't mean romance. I mean, really, this is how I want to live, and this, and she wants to live like this, and she expects this, and you expect that. That's what I mean by being intimate. Intimate, oh, people get mixed up with that. They think it's romance. Intimate is not always. I'm being somewhat intimate with Charles asking him personal questions. Okay, so I'm being somewhat intimate with Charles, asking him personal questions about his relationship and their communications. And he's saying, yes, they're, you know, intimately talking about exploring a relationship. So this is what I'm talking about with Charles. I mean, I keep pointing over here because I'm looking at the thing. So what Charles is doing is he's exploring this person as a human being, They have some interest, and he's going slow. I think he's already indicated. He never said "I love you" or anything. You seem like you come from a proper family, and you seem like a really great person. So this is a perfect example of what I'm talking about. With how Charles is doing this relationship, whether it grows into something more or not. He's doing it in a way that you need to be aware of. He's exploring it. So you kind of talked about this is what I want to do. This is how I want to live. And is she in the same type of things, Charles? Is she looking for the same thing? So she may be willing to relocate and have the same lifestyle as you desire. Am I correct? See what I'm doing at the same time. I'm not assuming anything. I'm going by intuition, but I'm not sure. I have to ask him. He said, "Ask me anything." So I'm waiting for his response. See, and how he put that is beautiful. She appears. It means she there's uncertainty. It looks like the relationship is going slow. They're at a friendship congeniality level, exploring each other, very slow pace, if I'm correct. And it's like, hmm, what he wants to do with his life, that sounds good to me. And we're going to take this slow. Who knows? She might have been hurt several times. She might have. Does she have kids? I'm not sure if you mentioned that. Does she have kids? That's a big important one. So, ladies, does um, why? Yeah, there you go. Wide open. He's open. He's not getting involved with. She has no kids. Okay. So, what if she had kids? Would that change anything for you? So that's another thing. I heard this on other channels. The women will hide their kids because they really want this guy. Don't do that. Don't do that. Be upfront. So you're talking with the guy, and he just bluntly asks you, "So do you have kids?" You say, "Yes, I have two, or I have three." Um, and he said, "Oh, okay, wow." His response will tell you that, that's kind of like something he doesn't want. So be upfront about your children. Be upfront about your children. Will he relocate for you? You have children. Personally, with me, if the woman had a child or two, that would be fine as long as they're young, very young, because I already had an issue with a teenager in my life, being married, and being a mentor with a few, and working around kids a lot in my career. Okay, so Charles, you basically explained to me that you want to be in your Nipa hut, hanging out, maybe listening to the radio, doing a hobby or something, doing gardening. You just want the home style and just boom, uh, and just relax and enjoy life. And you don't want either the responsibility or the commotion of children around. So Charles is being very upfront here. Like I was saying, I've been around kids of all different ages, a lot, hundreds at a time, and I'm not kidding. Uh, Working for schools, and I don't need the headache of dealing with another teenager or someone that, for me, it's like once they're over the age of 6 or 7, it's very hard because um, I need to explain this to you ladies too. Um, it, that would be nice. See, Charles is saying, hey, let's try this. So, for a lot of men, it's hard for a man to, especially if he's ever had kids, because he knows what happens with kids. It, and here's the thing, I'm going to tackle this one first and then go on to the next. So, you can avoid a lot of heartache by him just being honest and saying, well, I'm set on living here. I don't want to live anywhere else. And older kids are not appealing to me because, unfortunately, older kids, once they get over 5 years old, they're kind of like ingrained and they become very possessive with their mothers and protective. And it's harder to have a relationship with an older child. And trust me, I know that for a fact. I've been through it. And it's not fun. Uh, so a lot of men are shy of that. Um, and I'm going to go on the next point. Guys that have never been married or have been married and never had kids, and they say, oh, I'm good with kids and all of that. You know what? Ladies, please, go really slow with him. I see some of these characters on YouTube, and they come off like, oh, they're the man, and and they'll insult me and things like that. But I guarantee you have your kids with you, and after an hour, you will be regretting it. So be slow with a relationship, especially an online relationship or something like that where you've never met. Take that one like a friend zone. Stay friends. Don't get romantically involved if you have kids and he's never been married, or he's been married and he's never had kids, because he won't be able to take it, especially once a guy gets around 38 years old and older. Yeah, it's a rare breed. Um, now, there are exceptions. Say, I'll give you an example. He's never been married, or he's been married, never had kids, but his sister lived with him, and she had kids and helped raise them. Okay, good one. Yeah, she would work, and she would work at night, and I'm here taking care of her kids. And now that would be a good choice, possibly. But a guy that's never been around kids or whatever, it's like no. So Charles, so see, Charles has experience with kids, and Charles is probably at a point of life where I'm guessing, from what he said, he doesn't want children in the house, and he's probably been very blunt, as Charles tends to be, just being honest and upfront, saying it's something I don't need in my life. So Charles is really helping the live stream out here by explaining things like that. And the guys that act tough and say, "Yeah, I can handle kids," blah blah blah. But sir, have you ever had no? But kids are kids. Oh yeah, yeah. Uh I've had to work around kids with dangerous equipment and things like that, and they come running at you and everything else, and you got to keep your cool. Say, hey, kids, hey, whoa, 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 where are you going? No, 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 stop, stop, stop. This is, and you have to calmly explain, this is dangerous. You're going to get hurt. Next time, don't do that. You just say, what the hell are you doing? Get the hell out of here. You can't behave like that around school kids. And I see a lot of these guys and the way they behave on live streams. Oh my God. And I'm getting back to their habits. If they're drinkers and smokers, oh my God, no. Guys that drink and smoke and being around kids, honey, don't do it. Don't do it. Especially if he's never been married. So a guy, here we go with character. A drinker, a smoker, never been married, never had been around kids, and you got kids. No, no, it's not going to work. You have 1 in 1,000 chance. So if you already have a 1 in 10,000 chance of finding a foreigner that's interested in you and you have kids, it's going to be a 1 in 1,000 chance that this foreigner that's a drinker and smoker and never been married is going to work out. And I've seen this time and again on live streams with broken-hearted women. It's just not going to work out. So I'm going to be leaving the stream soon. I got a few points out, but I didn't get much into character because part of my character is I'm trying to find the right way. It is not to put down other people's and say this is correct and this is not correct. I could talk about behavior, but character is very hard. It's what you look, and part of looking for character is what you need, not what you desire, what you need in life. And Charles is perfect example. It's like he knows what he needs. He puts it out there. He found a nice lady that he's chatting with and communicating with, and exploring it slowly. And that's a good example. Yes. Well, I watched this one guy on YouTube, Charles. His name is Jon, Jon Jandai. He's in the Thailand, and he does farming. And his philosophy is you do your farming early in the morning and you only do 2 hours of farming. So he calls it lazy farming, but he's very successful at it. So, see, Charles basically, like me, has explored in depth a lot of things about your country and probably other countries, and is coming up with a plan of what's going to work for him and what's not going to work for him. The same I have. There are some gentlemen out there that have done it. I see a lot of these boys. We have a phrase in America: man child, man child. So it's a guy that just wants the fun times and the good times, but he's still a little boy at heart. And when times get tough, he leaves. A fly by night. You know, sex pad is another one. Not all guys are sex pads, but they're very similar. So, since there's no more questions, I have two people here. Charles is the interactor, and someone else is there. My guess it may be a young lady that is afraid. Well, that's natural. That's natural to have worry. My guess is it's a young lady that is here and she's afraid to show herself because she doesn't want to get her friends mad. I'm sorry. See, that's part of my character. I I'm a guy always the time. I have a kind of a sense of humor. I understand, a little bit like Charles. So hiding in the background. Yes, I know you're here, but there's two people, and I was making a joke and saying it might be a young lady out there that's afraid to show herself because uh, her friends might get mad that she's on my show. So, okay, Charles. Well, you talk about things and stuff like that. Now, what you were worried a little bit. What 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 what? This is perfect. What changed your worry? Are you comfortable with whatever you were worried about before? Because it says you were worried. I was worried, or you were worried a little bit. But are you still worried, or what changed? I was worried a little bit about a bear going after me. Okay, Charles is being funny here. I don't know if they have bears in the Philippines. They have walk, and some other characters out there. Let me try something here. There we go. Okay, so I don't know. Said I think the YouTube God saying and your screen, but how much of a man is he? How much can he endure in lack of comfort? Now, Charles is saying Nipa hut in the jungle, gardening, so he can handle the elements. How much of how much can this this foreigner handle when it comes to hygiene? You know, the difference. Yes, the difference of things in your country, the lack of things, the availability of things, how it reacts, going to an ATM and having to come back 3 times in the same day, how he reacts towards that. That's a lot of character. And a lot of these guys claim they can handle anything. They can't. Because, they're just want to act tough. So, Charles lives in the country, and I can imagine what it's like there. Harsh climate, a lot of snow, a lot of freezing weather. That's bad. So I'm going to leave the stream now. But yeah, that's the other thing. So I don't think she understood it. So that's the thing. A lot of these guys have a dream, a goal, idea. A lot of channels talk about this, but when it hits them in the face, they're not prepared for it. They're absolutely not prepared for it. And I hear this on other channels that a lot of these guys probably, it's anywhere, some claim 50%, some claim a third, and some claim 20%. I don't know what the reality is, but they come to the Philippines, they love it, and after 2 or 3 years, they hate it. They absolutely hate it, and they're in a relationship and everything else, do yourself a favor, ladies. Tell them everything intimately about the way things are there. Because seeing it in a video is one thing, actually experiencing it, actually sitting there and dumping water over your head in a bucket to bathe yourself and doing that day after day after day, no hot water. Some guys can't handle it. I don't know the actual degrees, but I have done that for the last 6 years. Actually, the last 7 years, but mainly the last 6 years, where it's in the 40s, and I don't know what the temperature would be there in the 40s. My guess is 8 degrees. So cold water, bath, 8 degrees. I've done that many times, and you know what? I got used to it. A lot of these guys can't. So yeah. So that's the other thing. And if you meet a foreigner, um, be very in tune to his reactions to where you live and all of that. So if he's making comments like, don't they ever clean the streets? God, this is a mess. Don't they ever do this? Be in tune with what is any disapproval. And yeah, they came back and one left. But any disapproval of the lifestyle there, that is going to tell you a lot. You really need, and I've seen guys that had gone there and visit. Yeah, I was walking down there and then this and that. And it's like, God, it's like they're not going to make it. They're going to be in a gated community. And they won't want to visit the province with your family if you have family in the province. You know, that. Better to go slow and ask a lot of questions. So, Charles and I can agree that we've had a tough lifestyle, and the Philippines would just be another adventure. And well, yes, I have not been there yet, so I can't say anything really negative. I have observed something that all I can say, it's not part of my lifestyle, mainly in the realm of food because I'm vegetarian. So if I would have a difficulty with people pushing food on me and me saying I don't eat meat, and them being insulted. So I would have to work that one out a lot. I would probably have people. Now I've been told by some, no, that wouldn't be a problem. But then, it's different saying and having experience. So yeah. So I'm going to leave the stream. It was nice having you here, and Charles. And I got to go to your channel. Do you have any videos out there, Charles? Just 1 minute videos about your area, and things like that would be good. Maybe he's preoccupied. Okay, folks. Okay. Yeah. Well, see, that's the thing. Keeping it to yourself versus voicing it. Now, if you're in a relationship with the woman and voicing it in a polite way, it is one thing, but a lot of this should be voiced before you even have a relationship. So that's the thing. I don't know if this live stream was very helpful. I do want to add that very soon, it's kind of in the work. I'm going to give a little cameo spot once a week with my twin brother. So he's a character. He might frighten some of you people because he's very outspoken and he tends to be a little rude. So we'll see what happens in the next 2-3 weeks with me giving him a cameo. So that will be interesting. He's going to be calling out people. So he's kind of a theatrical guy, kind of a joker, worse than me. So I'm not going to be on it. It's going to be him only. It's like, you know what? He's okay, but it's just different. So yeah, we'll see what happens in the next 2 or 3 weeks. I guess he's going to put a channel up just so he can come in these live streams maybe every once in a while and goof off. But yeah, he's going to be interesting. He doesn't wear a turban, but he has a lot more facial hair than I do. So that'll be fun. So he's going to be calling out some of the antics around here at the garden and YouTube. And I think he's going to stir up the pot a bit. So be aware of that. He's not a heckler, but he likes to call things out. So, okay, folks, God bless you. I've noticed this in back of me. Where I'm going to need a lot of this. Solar energy. Now it turned off, but that's going out in the sun later today. So no turban, no. Yeah, but a lot more facial hair. So yeah, I'm going to end the stream. Just so you know, I've been running my shows off of solar energy. So I have a little unit here that keeps my Chromebook 100% charged at all times, and I'm going to be placing the unit. They call it a generator. It's not a generator, but yeah. Anyways, have a blessed evening and a blessed day, folks. Thank you for coming by. Sorry, this is a little bit more of a boring live stream, possibly, and we'll go from there. So, thank you for coming. Take care. God bless.